In this short video, I'm going to provide a very unstructured overview of closed captioning a video asset. And particularly, we're going to look at using some very specific tools, although there are lots of other tools to do this outside of the tools I'm mentioning here. But particularly, we're going to use Microsoft's Stream service, brackets, software that basically is some way to edit text, and then also the platform called Warpwire, which allows for streaming of video and audio assets online. We're also going to be using this inside of Sakai, or at least the end result will provide that video asset as closed captioned inside of Sakai. So to begin here, I'm going to go ahead and simply switch over to a course. So inside of a course here, we have an asset. We have a video asset, and this is an introduction to the course. It's made by the instructor. The instructor created a video using a program called Screencast-O-Matic, although it basically provides a means by which you can create a video file, an MP4 typically. And the instructor has uploaded the course, uploaded the video into the course using Warpwire. And it appears inside the course here in this Start Here area. Now, if I go through and play this, you'll notice that at the very bottom on the right, Warpwire provides a place where we can have closed captioning. The problem, however, is that closed captioning is not available for this because we need to provide the closed captioning. Now, this can be done in lots of ways, but this video will try and cover a way to get that accomplished. So I'm going to hit play button, and we're going to see that he starts to speak.
Hi, my name's Joe Letitia, and I'm the guy working on the church.
Let's simply pause it there, and you can notice the control set down here on the bottom, which is atypical of a lot of video players. If closed captioning were provided, then a CC would show up right to just to the left of the speed button in the player. That would allow the viewer to select the language as provided to see the closed captioning down here in the bottom. Now, a way to do this using some of the tools I've mentioned is to take this video asset and to upload it to some service that has an auto caption creation algorithm. Essentially, this is a means by which some software listens to the video content or the audio content and attempts to figure out, based on a specified language, what is being said. Now, in this case, we're going to go ahead and use Microsoft Stream. I've pulled up Microsoft Stream with my login, and here I'm basically going to go through and upload. There's an upload button here that you can't see, but I'm going to upload a video. And I'm going to select the video that appears in that course. Now, this video has already been downloaded and I have it on my device, so I'm going to select that asset to simply upload that particular asset to be evaluated or reviewed for closed captioning. Now, this is not someone doing this closed captioning by listening to it. This is not human based. This is purely based on an algorithm, a software that Microsoft Stream has that is being used to try and figure out what's being said. It's already specified here that the language is English. That's just the default for me, but that could be changed to something else. Microsoft Stream has told me on the top that the video has been uploaded, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the My Content area in Microsoft Stream and look at My Videos, and we'll notice that the video has been uploaded here and it's being processed. Once the video is processed, then we'll be able to go into a place where we can actually see where a closed caption file exists. For example, I'll go down here to this Spring Session entry, and this is another video. I'm going to pause it if it starts to play. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to go up here to the ellipse next to the like option and go to the edit area. In Microsoft Stream, there's a lot of different things we can do here that are atypical for other video streaming platforms. But once the video has been uploaded, and after a period of time, depending upon the length of the video, over here on the right in the options area, there's a place to have captions, and these are auto-generated in a captions file. If I click download file, then I'll get a VTT file, which is essentially a specifically structured text file that I could then open and polish, or I could edit, modify. I'm going to go ahead and hit the download file option there just so you can see what that looks like. The file downloads, and it's actually showing up down here in my downloads area. And I'm going to open the VTT file with something that's called brackets. Now brackets, B-R-A-C-K-E-T-T-S, I believe, is just simply a text editing program. It does a good job of helping me see certain things, including the time and that sort of thing. But you could use almost any text editing program so long as it doesn't add additional formatting. Microsoft Word, while it's a text editing program, tends to add other codification to what's being done. In other words, it adds paragraph returns and other things that are not necessary, and in fact, in some ways, can get in the way of how the text file is utilized by the streaming service in order to show the closed captions. I'm just going to open the Spring Session auto-generated closed caption. It's nice that Microsoft Stream actually appends the VTT file with just this auto-generated part of the file name, because then I know that it's auto-generated. It's not been necessarily corrected or inspected for accuracy. I'm going to go ahead and click on it, and it opens it up in this program that I already have open. It's called Brackets, and I'll move it over here. And what you can see is that the VTT file essentially is formatted very similarly. There's lots of different kinds of closed caption file types. In this case, this is a VTT file. There's also SRTs and other file types. Warpwire will take a couple of different caption file types, but SRTs and web VTT files are types that it will take. You notice here in the area here we've got WebVT note. It provides this recognizability is something that's provided by the Microsoft Stream service, and essentially it's trying to say, look, this is how good I think I've accurately captured all the text in this file. You can see here there's a specification for the, I think this is for the asset, or at least for some portion of where it is in the asset. And then you also have a time derivative here. So it's amount of minutes, seconds, frames, and parts of frames, or hours, hours, minutes, seconds, and parts of seconds. And that this is how long that this set of text should show up on the screen for the person to see it. So here, for example, it says diameter all just Todd, how your instructor for Intro to Meteorology 4. And that should show up for roughly 4 seconds and 39 frames, or that portion of a second. And so the rest of the file goes on just like this. So if I wanted to correct this, then I could go through and I could listen to the video wherever I want to listen to the video in. So if I hit cancel here and I simply open the video. So he says he's a pretty fast talker here at the very beginning, and obviously he does not say diameter. He says something different. So in this case, then I would go through and he says, hi, I'm your what does he say? Now, this is where part of this process is sort of tedious. I have to back this up and listen again.
Hi, I'm meteorologist Todd.
So he says, hi, I'm your meteorologist. And then the rest of it's caught correctly, but I need to capitalize his name, and it's not Todd How. And there we go. And then because this is a course, I probably want to capitalize the intro to. Okay, and so there we go. So I've corrected this particular set. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, how do I know that that timing is still correct? The nice thing about the timing, so far as what Microsoft Stream and other services do, is that it's really captured the sounds that happen in this time frame. And this text will fit on the screen when it actually displays, either in Microsoft Stream or in some other platform, which sort of works out really well. And so what I would do is I would simply go through the rest of the presentation of this video, listening to the video, checking the text here, and making sure that what I'm hearing is what is actually being said here. Trying to generate this caption file all from scratch would be very, very tedious. And in fact, it's very hard to get these microseconds really, really perfect. So what I want to do then is I want to go back to the file that we uploaded just a few seconds ago, not this one, and see what it looks like. So I'm going to go over here to My Content and check in the streaming service. Like I said before, depending upon how long the video is, will depend on how long it takes to actually generate that auto caption file. So let me skip over here and we can check that out. So we'll go back into this Arts 3100 introduction and we'll click on the ellipse and hit edit. And it looks like that file wasn't very long, and so now you can see we actually do have a downloadable auto captions generated file. I'm going to hit download just like we did before, and here you can see there it is. If we look at it, it says that it's Arts Introduction auto generated caption. And so now essentially what I would do then is I would listen to the video here in Microsoft Stream or wherever else I happen to have access to the video, and I would correct this as we go through the captioning process. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to go through and essentially assume that I've gone through and corrected this file. And part of correcting the caption file has a lot to do with going through and punctuating certain things, correcting spelling. For example, here I don't even have to listen to the video. I already know that this part here, it says South Knoxville, needs to be corrected for capitalization. There's some other things down here. So for example, it says that something about an authentic log home that was originally built in 1834. I could leave 1834 as it is spelled out, but I could also probably change that to 1834, the date. And so correcting the VTT file would require listening to that content and then going down through the VTT file and correcting it. We're going to assume then for a second that I've gone through and corrected this file. And when I've done so, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I've saved it. So here's the file that I think I've fixed and saved, and so I need to make sure I save it. So I'll use brackets file save mechanism. We'll just simply save it. And now what we want to do is we want to incorporate that closed caption file into the asset as it appears through the Warpwire streaming service inside of our course in Sakai. To do so then, I'm going to skip back over to Warpwire. And this asset happens to come from a particular library that's being shared for people taking this course. So in this case then, I'm going to go to the library that this asset is shared from. Now this may be different depending upon how your implementation works or where those assets are coming from inside of Warpwire. I'm going to go to Warpwire, and here's the actual asset inside of Warpwire in that library. I can go here and close the asset so that I can see the asset in the actual library it exists in. It appears down here on the right. I'll click the ellipse button on the bottom right and go to Settings. Now this is specific to Warpwire. Other services might handle this slightly different. So here I can see the asset, and down here in the bottom in the Advanced Media options, I can click the Captions Add Media area. So I'm going to hit Add, and I can choose to upload a caption file. I'll select Upload a Caption File, and when I do, I get a choice to choose where that caption file is that I've just saved on my device. There it is. When I saved it, I happen to change the file name so that it says course introduction _ corrected rather than the auto-generated one. That way it's easy to tell which ones I need to use. Once I open it, it'll ask what language is this closed caption file in, and it is in English, so I can hit upload. And then once the file is actually uploaded, it'll show that that is a caption file associated with that particular asset. So here you can see same video, captions, English. Now I'm going to go ahead and close this area. And you can see in the bottom right here inside of Warpwire that it has a CC designation next to it. That means there is some sort of closed caption file associated with this particular asset. So then what does that look like inside the course? Well, let's go back to the course site over here on the left. And if you notice now, there's actually a closed captioning file associated with this asset. And if I happen to play it, which I'll do here in a second, I'll hit the play button and turn the closed captioning on. And then you should see the closed captioning, which is being leveraged by that VTT file.
Hi, my name's Joe Letitia, and I'm the guy working on the church. Welcome to my art appreciation course. I most likely won't have much of an opportunity to meet many of you.
So there's the closed captioning. Now the other thing that's nice about the way that Warpwire works is that you can go through in the closed caption area and you can actually download a transcript of those closed captions, which is really, really handy for folks that want to have that content read by perhaps a screen reader or otherwise wish to read that content rather than having the content listened to. That's simply done by using this download button to the right of the captions for the language that you're choosing. So if I hit here, then I have the option to download the caption or the transcription. In this case, I would choose to download the transcript if I wanted to just simply read it. Which if I do, this is what it looks like. It shows me the file here where I can simply read through the content of that particular asset. So this is how basically to go through and use a couple of these services to leverage them together to create closed captioning for assets inside of a streaming service, particularly Warpwire. Now, if you don't have access to Microsoft Stream, there are other services out there that do this. Our institution happens to use Microsoft Stream as a part of our Office 365 package, but other institutions or other individuals might choose to use other services. YouTube, for example, has an auto captioning service, which you could go through and you could likewise go and upload an asset to YouTube, and then it also has a mechanism whereby you can download one of 3 different types of closed captioning files. Let me see if I can show you that really quickly here. So I'll just skip over here to YouTube, and I've pulled up a video that I've already uploaded to the YouTube service using a YouTube account. So in the YouTube area, once it's uploaded, and of course this is the same sort of thing, auto captions take time to create. And so I would basically tell you that if your video is 10 minutes long, expect the closed captioning to take about twice as much time, at least. In this case then, I've gone to YouTube and I've opened this video. This is a video I uploaded, so I have access to it. If you're trying to close caption a video that you do not own, there are other routes that you'll have to take in order to accomplish that. Because I own this video, or at least because I've authored the video content and uploaded it to YouTube, then I'm going to go to the closed captions area, subtitles on the top here. Once there, you can see that YouTube has already added an English automatic set of closed captions. And this is what you'll typically find if you've uploaded something. I'm going to go there by clicking on it. And on the left-hand side then, you see that there's a list of the words. And essentially this is how YouTube has decided to try and figure out the closed captioning, using an algorithm where they listen to what's being said and try and decipher what it is into words, and along with seconds and minutes and frames. If I want to then, I can go through here and I can correct this using the edit function here. Essentially providing the mechanism whereby I can listen to the asset at the same time as I actually correct it. It also provides other mechanisms here from a visual standpoint so that I can see this is the text that shows up between this second and so on. There's even sliders here that allows me to move this around so that I can extend the time or shorten the time as needed. In this case though, we're going to pretend that I've gone through and corrected these. And when I do, then over here on the Actions area, I can choose to download either the VTT, the SRT, or the SBV. Essentially, these are all different types of closed caption files that can be used and that are available to you by simply downloading them here. Now, in the case of taking this content and putting it into another streaming service, you'll need to try and keep in mind what that other streaming service uses for its closed captioning service. In this case, if I was taking this set of captions and trying to take it over to Warpwire, for example, I would download the SRT or the VTT, as Warpwire takes both of those types. So again, this has just been a really unscripted overview of a process. There are lots of different processes. There are other processes that involve using third-party services that full on will take a video asset and run it through an algorithm and even have humans, real people, correct those things for a fee, depending upon what it is they're doing. Some services will only provide a transcript. Other services will provide a transcript and the closed captioning with the timing set. But this is just a way to accomplish doing closed captioning with these particular tools, but there are other ways to do so.